Hello and welcome to Big Brother. We're off to a great start. Oh, good game, guys. Good game. Bring
it in.
You have good sportsmanship. I like it.
Well, it reminded me of when I was reffing or coaching and the kids would all go through the line. Good game. You know they don't mean it. But you have to say, especially because if the ref hears you say something else, you can get a penalty. So,
well, I mean, it does show like a good, good manners, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Again, another person that was interesting voted off Big Brother.
Yeah, it's the running theme this season. I didn't like it for even a hot second. I cried. I'm not going to lie. Might have cried a little bit.
Did you cry like David? Or was it
no, for real tears, not insanely, ridiculously over the top, but just a tear or two. It's like this year has been such a bummer. It was so nice to see him play again, and I mean, he was just getting to this. This HOH competition was an Ian HOH competition.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the one that they're going to show live that was only like a 30
the
seconds.
The spatial thing and like the puzzle and figuring it out and seeing it in a three-dimensional. Yeah, he would have had it. So they're lucky.
Yeah, we don't get to see it.
I thought it was an interesting week. I thought it started out pretty good. I liked the Davon and Christmas making up, or did they? Oh, yeah. It's Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, I'm voting her out first chance I have.
I am so excited for that to happen. I'm eagerly awaiting that eviction.
I almost don't want to start pulling for her because everyone, it seems like I start pulling for her, they get voted out.
There you go. That's what you need to do.
No, I'm saying I kind of pulling for Davon. I mean, I just like her confessionals are great.
Yep.
She seems like a pretty smart player.
Yep.
And she knows how to read people.
Mm-hmm.
But
she's fiery. She's feisty, So.
Well, and she still has some love for the game. Some of them there just really don't seem. It's like they want to win because they want the money, but I mean, the love for the game is really only in a handful of them, and she's definitely one of them this year that has that.
I don't understand if you're there. I know they get money up front, but it's not $500,000.
Right.
But if you're there, if you're competitive at all.
So I think they get like 52,000 going into jury.
Oh, really?
Don't quote me as fact, but that's a number I've seen swim around.
It's still not 500,000 plus.
No.
Once you're in jury, you still can't go home.
No.
So why not try and win the game?
Right. Well, Ian was threatening this week when he was telling her that he wasn't going to give her his vote, he was also threatening that he wasn't going to go to jury. He was going to go through his contract because he's no way he was going to jury.
That was those white wine coolers kicking in.
It's because they're in a normal season, you're getting more money for the further that you finish. Mm-hmm. I think you also get a stipend for every week that you're there. Where they're just getting a flat appearance fee, I guess you want to call it.
Oh, are they? That's
right.
Awesome.
So if you make it to jury, you're not getting any more money for, making it to jury or making it further in the game. So, I mean, I've heard a lot of them just want to self-evict.
Lame.
Yeah, they don't want to sit around and sit in jury for like a month and a half or something?
Another month. Yeah, at least another 6 weeks.
I think going to jury would be the place to go to kind of like deprogram all your paranoia before you go home to see your loved ones.
Right. You would think. I like that Ian brought that up, the post game.
Right.
And what I don't know. I don't know for sure, but I think some of that was obviously, just his honest opinion. But this week has been just nuts with all the powers being used and stuff. So everybody was really tense anyway. But some of the stuff that Memphis was saying last week and this week about Ian and Nicole was getting into some trouble with some of her sponsors about it. And I think maybe production might have said something to her
I think so,
because a very different Nicole came out of the DR, and then it was like cry, cry, cry. The rest of
He's my best friend. He's my best.
Yeah.
Because I wrote down. Well, if he's your best friend, stick up for him.
Right. Exactly.
Don't laugh. Don't sit there and laugh and
Ooh, that's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, especially if someone's if it depends, if they're making jokes about certain things, just that aren't offensive.
Right.
If you're just ripping on each other, that's different. But what he was saying was offensive.
Right.
And she should have stepped up and said, "Hey, look, I'm not going to listen to this. Come on."
Yeah, I've just been that's unreasonably mean. We don't need to do that.
No, Rachel says Nicole lost several sponsors.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. Well, she kind of, she's kind of marketed as this like all-American good girl, like there's no cussing or edginess to any of it. She's got a very, wholesome appeal, and this did not help that.
And Rachel also says she has no spine.
It's sad because we see all the moving parts.
Right.
And I think that if Davon had not used the power veto to take Kevin off, and left Kevin up there, and if those girls would start talking to each other, then they would have known, hey, we're going to keep Ian safe. Nicole, we'll keep you guys safe. Hey, Danny, we'll get Tyler out. And you know what I mean? They had all the pieces there if they would just communicate. And this thing where they're like, I don't want to make the six mad. And who cares, really? I mean, you have enough over there, and you're not beating those guys. And one of them's being a bully to Ian. Needs a go. I just don't see.
It would have been the perfect excuse to put Memphis up. I mean, she could have, with the rest of her allies, she could have just said, I don't appreciate what was going on, and put him up. Shoulda, coulda.
What she was saying wasn't making any sense. If I vote for them, I'll be a target. Well, it's still
not if you have the majority.
I was like going, it doesn't. You would have the votes. You would have the power.
I was kind of hoping that an Enzo or somebody who in the past has thrown in like that wild card vote. I was hoping somebody was going to do that this week.
Yeah. Because
then that would have shifted the blame to Nicole.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine if Memphis would have thrown a hinky vote? I mean, that would have been. That's the showmanship thing. I mean, because Memphis has it. He's friends with Dan. He has showmanship. There's been a couple times he's tried to use it. It doesn't work because he comes off as a jerk. But it would have been an interesting move. It would have got people talking. It would have changed the game. It would have given him one more notch to win at the end. Because right now he's sitting pretty good. So I guess that's probably why he wouldn't stir the waters.
And it's ridiculous for these girls, for Danny and for Nicole, to not realize you're not beating these guys in physical challenges.
Right.
Who do you think is gonna be the one that gets their sights locked on him? Do you think it's gonna go all the way to the end and it's gonna be one of the 3 or 4 guys, or do you think it's gonna happen beforehand?
Well, maybe she was thinking that she won the porn wall challenge. I call it that because if you close your eyes, you would think you were watching a porn movie. Oh, anyway, the moment they were doing it on the wall, I was like,
what is happening?
I was just like going, if you closed your eyes, it's a different event. But,
it was. Jack, do that again. That again.
No, I'm not gonna do it again. I'm just making a joke, but at one point I'm like going, oh my god, just. I thought I was watching. Was that Meg Ryan movie with Billy Crystal?
When Harry Met Sally.
When Harry Met Sally.
She's having.
But of course, everyone in that challenge was throwing it. Nobody wanted to win, but Kevin. But the guy was just shaking like crazy.
That's not a fun challenge. I mean, if you think that. I think if you feel like you're even 75% certain that you're in a good place or that you're okay, you're going to drop because that is just miserable. That cold water constantly.
Yeah. And it's not when it leans forward and comes back and Yeah, it was.
I think they should like change. You notice how these types of games always kind of come around the same time. They always sort of do that same rotation. They really need to like. We have this endurance. Let's take that endurance and put it at a different place in the game. Like maybe that would change some of these power shifts up, because those endurance ones, they're not great for like the big muscle guys. Like they can't hold on to those rocks that long. Move those around a bit.
What if you had a challenge, say like this, and you predetermine, like, okay, you had 8 people up there. The person that falls 6 wins.
There you go.
But the contestants don't know it, so you can, because they're all saying they're going to throw it.
Like a random draw.
Yeah, which could be strategy, but to eliminate that, people.
What if they don't know what the number? Yeah, you mean like everyone can be at the end after everyone's done, they draw a number, and
yeah, or you have, they tell the audience ahead of time, the 5th person that falls off is going to win, and so
that'd
they're
like,
fun. Well, do I fall off? Do I? Because then, it's more of a luck thing, I guess. But at least they couldn't throw it on purpose.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Just kind of mixing the game up, just kind of.
Yeah. I did think the microbrew challenge was really funny.
That was great.
I really liked it.
That was probably my favorite challenge this season so far.
Well,
I can't hold a fork or spoon steady. There's no way.
They've never done anything like that before, so it's totally original and new, and good for them because they do roll out the same ones and just like retheme.
Right. Yeah, it was great to see something. It was great to see something different, and I liked Tyler taking his deep breath.
Oh,
I literally blew it.
That sucks so bad. Oh man.
I'm telling you though, there's some heavy editing. There's got to be some heavy editing in some of those competitions, and this would have been one of them because the F-bombs were all over the place with this. They would
just have to turn my mic off because I would not.
Yeah,
like I said, I just would have quit.
I just can't believe how big they made them.
I'm done. Kick it. Little micro brews fly everywhere. Yeah.
No, it was really cute though.
Now, what if you were?
I like the. I was just gonna say a lot of people I've seen posting on Twitter the Barbie-sized Vito.
Yes. So cute.
Barbie's camper.
And she used it the whole time because when she saved Kevin, she pulled it out and it was like this. I'm gonna give you.
Oh my god, it's adorable.
It's cute. I hope she gets to keep that.
She has to.
Probably. I mean, she just put it in her pocket and we lost it. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
She has a daughter, right? Maybe her daughter can use it for.
I really hope that this next week's Vito is like really huge. Like ginormous. like Flavor Flav in his, in his clock, like just ginormous.
It's already pretty big, but this way you can only play it if you can actually heave it into the house and roll it into the living room.
You have to carry it all week.
Lug it around like Sisyphus.
Well, also the way they were filming it, they looked gigantic. They looked like Jamie did before we started recording.
Yeah.
Extreme close up.
Well, Danny nominates Kevin and David. I'm thinking
dumb,
safe,
lame.
Yeah, lame.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Without those powers, it would have just been a very ABC boring week.
What do we think about David using his power, which I thought was a good move, but then saying, "I'm going to pretend it wasn't me"? I'm not going. Well, why?
I don't know what the point was to hide it. Like it's not.
He just wants to keep people think he sucks. They still believe it.
If you used that power to take somebody else off, then I could see maybe hiding it. But why would you hide taking yourself off of there? It don't even make sense you would use it.
And no one was buying it, but he kept going to everybody. And I love when he goes to Kevin. He goes, "Did you save me?" He goes, "Why would I save you? I would have saved
myself."
There's no reason for him to be that way. It's so funny, but whatever.
He's a great crier. He could play Jack on Lost. Easily.
It just only proves again, like he had to save himself, obviously, but it just proves again that he does not understand the game because there was literally no reason to lie.
If,
Like,
if he makes it to the final two, he's going to lose
he's gonna
because of his inability to act.
Well, also you're making your competitors feel you're thinking they're stupid that they're because like Cody was like going, what, dude? Yeah, okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah,
It was so fun watching him walk around and fake this, like, and then everybody later when they would talk to somebody else, they're like, "Oh my god!"
Unless somehow he wanted to make them the other people because he's so clueless and has no idea who's in an alliance. Maybe that's one of the things. But he wanted everybody to think that he was so important to another player that they saved him. Maybe that was what he was trying to do.
Oh, we can't mess with this guy. He's got people on his side.
Yeah, don't mess with him. They'll save him.
That was his intent. I honestly believe that, but I'm like going.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard.
I like Dave Vaughn. Like, were you not here last week? If I had it, I would have used it last week.
Yeah. I would have said, yeah, exactly.
I heard that Tommy Wiseau was watching David act and pointing and laughing. You're either going to get that or you're not going to get that.
I hate to pick on him, but it just you want to like him. He's a likable guy. But as a player, he just doesn't have it.
And you know what? Maybe that's okay. Maybe then you just never dislike him.
You know what? At this point, I'm all for it because we know exactly what everyone else is going to do. But he's the wild card. I'm all in. Let's go, David, to the end. Final two. I'm at that point.
He had those tears streaming. I mean, even Memphis, who I don't like, goes, dude, I'd be dancing on the table.
Right.
That's a big deal. But, all right.
I did not use it. I did not. Oh, hi, Cody.
I mean, he's trying. He's trying some strategy. I don't know.
So super weird that Danny didn't use her power so that she could play again this week.
That's what I thought because it's like, oh, well, then you can use it next week, but that's voids it as a power. Like
she has, right? She could
give it to whoever gets HOH tonight. Like, is it transferable?
She could give it to someone else.
She can use it on somebody else.
And she's not good. She says she's not good at the challenges. So,
but she's not going to use it on this one, so she can only use it next week.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, better hope that Tyler doesn't get it because I have a sneaking suspicion if Tyler gets up there, Danny might end up on the block.
If she's gonna, if she's gonna use it on herself, she has to win the next veto.
So I think she only has 3 weeks to use it, though.
She still has 1 more week. She can use it next week, but that means she's gonna have to give it to someone else.
Yeah,
but she'll automatically be able to play next week. She's not out of it next week.
But if
whoever wins,
what's the alliance? What do they call it? The 5? What are they?
I don't know. The 1 out of 26 alliance.
Yeah, but their alliance, like Cody said, why would I take Ian off when our alliance keeps winning has won 5 of the 6 challenges? So she's probably thinking, all right, I'll save it for someone next week. I'll get to play next week. I'll be safe. Once someone in my alliance wins it, say like Cody, I give it to Cody, and Cody can.
Yeah, she could be using it to keep her butt off of the block.
Yeah.
Because whoever's HOH, she goes, keep me off the block. I'll give you this power.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That would be a smart way of doing it.
The odds are someone in her alliance is going to win.
I'll make sure you can play for HOH again next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
But why would you do that when you could keep the game in your control? You know what I mean?
Because she wasn't going to win it.
She wasn't going to win, probably.
No, but yeah.
If it was like a crapshoot game, maybe, but
if she was on the bottom of if she was like David or Devon or someone that's not in a strong alliance, I would have used it. But I think she's okay because she's in the strong alliance. And like Jamie said, she can go, hey, don't vote me out. I'll get you you can play the HOH again.
Got a higher tender right now that way.
I hope she gets voted out now because honestly, she had an opportunity to take a shot at Tyler and she didn't do it. And
I hope it's Tyler that takes her out, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Hope it bites her in the butt because I think that was dumb. And I don't know. Anybody seeing Dick's tweets this week? I wonder what he said. What did he have to say about it?
He
That's dumb.
he said putting up Tyler and Ian was not a bad idea because you've got Tyler, who is a serious threat, and you've got someone who's already won the game. So she made the right move there.
Right.
But if you have a chance to get Tyler out, you take him out. And she should have backed it up.
Oh yeah.
And I think
Because
that's the
she was
biggest
telling
thing.
everybody he's who I'm going after. He's my target.
So just take him out.
So what she wants the house to believe, so this is ridiculous. Those other people need to be thinking about this. She wants the house to believe that she, as HOH, told everybody her target was Tyler. And every other week, the people have voted out the person the HOH wanted, but this week they didn't? Why is that? Oh, because she's a big fat liar.
Yep.
And
if you're going to go out on a limb, and I understand you're running out of people to put up on the block, but if it's going to be Tyler that you put up, and she even made a few comments as to, Tyler's been in her sights, that's where you double down, and you can say, Tyler, I love you to death, but you're my biggest threat in the game. The end. Yeah. Because Tyler would do the same thing with a smile on his face. This is the game.
Plus, that's building a resume too.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't put Ian up as the replacement. You put up somebody else in the alliance like Memphis so that that's one less vote that they can't screw you over. And then when you're from 6 to 5, you still have the numbers, and you say, he had to go for my game. I'm sorry, but we're 5 solid.
And that's why Ian said it was a blunder.
Yeah. I think
he was saying that too because he thought he was in her alliance, the other alliance they had, the 4 thing.
Yeah.
Right.
4 Prime?
Yeah, 4 Prime.
And Rachel's absolutely right. They all said Tyler didn't even campaign.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So it was obvious to everybody that it's just a farce. The people are winning HOH and putting people up, and they're trying to pretend like they don't like this person or they don't like that person. But it's just,
Well, she said if you're going to go after Tyler, you have to be successful. All she had.
Yes,
you said earlier, Nicole and Danny could have said, "Okay, we're gonna flip."
Yep. This is my HOH. This is what I want this week.
Yes.
Be done.
And if you're going to put Ian up next to him because you see Ian as an equal threat, then own that, and say, these are 2 of the biggest threats in the house. I don't care which one goes. You guys figure it out. And sit back. And then you're free. There's nothing on you.
But with everyone knowing how Nicole was kind of on the fence, this was definitely the week to throw like one of those little hanky votes in there to just put some attention either on Nicole or put some attention on Danny if it's a tie because of you.
Right.
But
then she has to
Then Danny's the bad guy.
I was hoping it would be a 4-4 tie, so she would have to make.
Me too.
And then you know what? And then what do? You've told everybody that Tyler's your target, and then you split it and you send Ian home again. Yes. She would have kind of had to. She probably wouldn't have, but it would have felt like she would have had to at that point vote Tyler out because of what she had said during the week. But no, it was totally dumb because she even said that she's closer with Enzo than Tyler. So you know what? Get rid of Tyler and then tell your other people we're going to put Enzo in here with us.
Yeah. There was multiple ways to work around it. I think
they're not peeling off of you. They're going to still work with you because they still need you guys still need the numbers.
Right. But you know what ended up happening doing it the way that she did? She was trying to avoid all of these negative things happening with that alliance. But what she did, she put her head out on the block because of all of the doubling back and trying to protect Ian on behalf of Nicole, put both of them like front row center targets.
Well, she was upset because she had to nominate 4 people, right? That is kind of crazy.
And that's hard. That sucks, but
that is kind of crazy.
A lot of people to pick from. Sorry. Get your own alliance members out because they're not taking you to the end.
You put Kevin and David up there. She could have lied afterwards and said, I knew David had that power. I knew he was going to save himself.
Exactly.
And my plan was always to backdoor Tyler. And then you stick with that. And then it doesn't matter. You're not making anybody else mad that went up because that was my plan. And then you look like freaking genius mastermind.
Right. You go to Ding Dong David. You go, hey, listen, I know that it was you that played it, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to pretend this whole time that like we're in this together. Like, this was the plan.
Oh my
Like,
God.
I knew you were going to do this.
He's not good at keeping secrets, though. So
Just say, yeah.
He's horrible at it. He'd
risk
immediately run to Tyler like, "Hey, so Danny just told me this."
Yeah.
Oh.
Here, I wrote it down. You want to read
I
it?
also think if you force the tie and you put the vote on Danny, I mean, you literally make this entire week the worst week for Danny in the house.
Yeah. Correct.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, she didn't even want to win the HOH. She was trying not to win, but Cody jumped off before she could. Dang it.
She just wanted to outlast Tyler because she was worried Tyler was going to put.
Right.
She's so worried about Tyler putting her on the block that she, says, "Okay, I just have to outlast Tyler."
Right. But here's the thing:
if you're worried about that,
why did Cody think he had to outlast Tyler?
Oh yeah, because they're all sketch with each other. Remember, because about 2 weeks ago, Cody noticed that Tyler and Enzo were like buddying up, and then he really started schmoozing in there and trying to be like, you. I mean, you could tell he was kind of feeling third wheel. So I mean,
so they've been lucky. They've been lucky.
Is that solid group of guys is very fractionable. Yeah.
Right. Well, the six, because they act like they're so together. Yet, I think the only one who's blindly loyal might be Christmas.
Yeah.
It is. She absolutely yes.
Because she is not playing 3-dimensional chess at all.
No.
But whatever, she's loyal.
That's why she named her son that.
Is that her son's name?
It's loyal. It is. It is. It's loyal.
Well, I mean, if you grew up your entire life with your name being Christmas, I mean, you are going to give your
You're
kid.
going to throw it out on the edge. It doesn't matter. Yep.
Mom, why'd you name me that? Like, seriously, my whole life I had to deal with this.
She should have named him Thanksgiving or Halloween, something like that.
Easter.
Did you guys ever hear Davon last week practicing her what she said she was going to do as her her eviction speech or whatever? She was practicing this, and it was so great because she was like, Christmas said that this was going to happen, but Thanksgiving told me this, and she went through it was hilarious. If I can find the clip, I'll send it to you.
Okay, do that. Yeah.
I did like when Ian said something. He said in the exit interview with Julie, whatever her last name is, Montanez or whatever. She said,
"Don't judge. Don't judge."
There's just too many. She has too many names. It's like John Cougar Mellon.
That's what she said at the end of the show tonight. Did you guys not catch that at the end of the show tonight? Don't judge.
My feed kept freezing. So there was like some scenes you guys are talking about. I'm like going, again, CBS All Access, great during the commercials. The show comes on.
Was it freezing or is it because she's a robot?
She was like Max Headroom a little bit.
It was the whole show. Now we're having a storm come through. But still, it shouldn't affect. It's always that way with CBS All Access. Now I forgot what I was saying. Damn you, Julie. When Ian was saying, he basically said, I'm playing, well, at least I wasn't taken out by stupid players so much.
Yeah.
Too many words.
Yeah, he was throwing some little Ian hissy fits this week during the feeds, and I don't know why it's got to be something with like their COVID schedule, but the feeds have been cut over every little thing this year. So like the second they start to mention production, they shut it down, and then we don't go back for 2 hours. But Ian was left and right, like he was calling people out, and we saw a little bit of that. They showed a little bit of that with Danny, but he's like, "This is the stupidest thing." And Davon goes, "You know what? None of them out there are calling us all stars. They're calling us the people that said yes."
That might be like the most like self.
Right.
Like she gets it.
Spot on. Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I want Davon to win. Come on.
Yep.
Yeah. But I
right now,
I did see Ian when he was in the confessional, and he got mad. He said he kind of kicked something. I was like, wow.
Yep.
And
Yeah, he got a little bit ticked. He admittedly says that he does not handle losing really well. So
Right.
he was really embarrassed too that he got so mad about it because they had a little soiree and they got a little bit of alcohol, the white wine, and he got a little bit lippy about everything. And then for like 24 hours after that, he kept going, "Oh, the white wine, that's what I'm going to be known as. They're going to show this clip of me getting mad and this is going to be me." And he was really worried about it. So it's clear he was like, okay, I got to reel it in and be a grown up.
I understand his frustration because he thought his alliance threw him up there.
Yeah.
And, and to be Danny's credit, she did a great job lying to Ian.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I do think that I think she did feel bad because I think she does actually like Ian, but I mean, whatever.
Well, she was in the room when Memphis was
supposed to get him out.
She was in the room too when Memphis was going on about Ian.
Right. Exactly.
It was Nicole.
I would almost bet you Nicole said something to her too.
Yeah.
So she didn't call Memphis out when he was doing that, but is that like, that'd be a really hard situation, right? Like you're sitting there, you see somebody doing something mean, but you're in the room and you're like, ha, 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 and you're just trying to get out of there because you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Slowly creep out of the room
because you can't. Oh gosh, you might not want them to blow up if you say something, God forbid. Then they blow up. Then the house is all in a tip, and everybody's mad at you.
Well, could you say something? Come on, guys.
I mean, in real life, absolutely. I don't know if you could. I think you'd.
I'm bumming that there was no like house meeting about that. Do you remember the days of house meetings?
Yeah.
Man, I loved a good Big Brother house meeting.
If you're in a sense bullying somebody and you're the person who speaks up for that person, to be shunned from your alliance or voted out of the house because of that opinion,
no, you'd be a hero.
You know what? I wouldn't mind walking out. At least I'll be walking out with my head high.
Sure, but who else was in there with Memphis when he was saying that stuff?
It was Memphis, Nicole, Danny, and there was somebody else, and I can't remember who it was.
Well, there was a couple different times. So there was a Cody and Ian time, and pretty much everyone's been around it, with the exception of maybe Kevin and Davon.
So they're all kind of complicit with it. If they would just together go like, maybe that's not going to come across real awesome, guys. Come on.
Or you can even say, hey, Memphis.
We're accepting.
Cameras are on.
Yeah, right. Hello.
You're gonna be coming across as a jerk. I mean, you could say, hey, you could say it in a way that you're trying to help him.
Well,
I mean, you know the cameras are on you. You know how society is today.
Right. But he has this weird thing, this weird energy in the house that I don't, for the life of me, I don't understand it. But it's almost like he's the Godfather. That's what I mean. His game is just going so smoothly right now because all of them, well, let me go talk to Memphis. And then we go, well, maybe we should do this. And what do you think Enzo would say? Well, they don't go see Enzo. Well, let's go see Memphis. It's like they always go talk to him. He knows what's going on in that house all the time because they're all coming to him. And he's just, he doesn't even have to push the information on other people.
Right.
He's just sitting pretty. I mean, he really is. For somebody who can't play comps because his back is out, for somebody who's an old schooler, he's the only old school left, or transition. I mean, he's old school, but he's just chilling. I mean, he's literally just the game that Ian was talking about. The most solid game you can play is lay low and then just hammer in at the end. And that's what Memphis is doing, except for it's working for him because
I don't know if he'll be able to hammer in though. He might not be able to hammer in though.
And he might not. That's just it. Those last, I mean, and the people that he has with him right now are great to get him to the end. But in Survivor rules, you need those people for a couple days, and then you get them out because they are ultimately going to go against you.
Yeah, you use them as long as you can, and then you kick them to the curb.
Right.
Yeah. As soon as this becomes an individual game, they need to go right before it's an individual game.
Correct.
Well, since he's such a jerk, can he win it? Is he someone you want to take? Is he a, not greatest of all time goat? Is he just a true goat where he can't win?
He would never win against Enzo. I don't know very many people that would win against Enzo. If Enzo can get himself to the end, he's walking out with the money. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I could see if Memphis was able to make it to the end by picking off the rest of his alliance, and they were all in the house. Then those guys might be like, "You got me."
Well, that's just it, because we know Davon that she's not a bitter jury member. She's going to vote for who deserves to win the game. Nicole's the same way. I would think Tyler would be the same way. Cody would be the same way. I could see Christmas edging towards just being angry, but I think she could be reined in on a vote. Danni, she's going to vote for who play. I mean, right now, with the exception of maybe Kevin, and David, always David. Anybody who's going to jury at this point is going to vote for the best game, not for the friendship, not for the best game.
If your production from CBS, do you want Memphis winning the game?
Probably not as much as you want Tyler or Nicole to win it.
Especially if it comes out that he did. Because I don't think we talked about this on here. But
they haven't mentioned it at all, and they're filling us in with these really weird things that we don't like. We don't need a big 5-minute piece on Nicole getting to not have to wear her, her leotard anymore when we could be doing right. It's like there's a lot of these little things that they're filling in, and they have completely left, the things that he's saying out. So it's almost like and Nicole, same thing. She's their little America's sweetheart, But
the problem with the difference between
last season too, though, with
Jack and
right.
But the problem with this
and we got to see somebody win $500,000 and look really, really bummed out about it.
But the problem with this game, though, is it's not like Survivor. It's not like Amazing Race. If someone says something, it only gets out if it's leaked. If someone says, it's like the Dan thing. They addressed it. If it would have stopped, that would have been the end of it. But he didn't stop touching people.
Exactly.
People. And here, but you have cameras, like you said. I guess they can shut off the cameras and say, all right, But those cameras are live, right? So if Memphis is doing something stupid, they can't control it. CBS.
And they're not turning that off when he's doing that. But what they are turning off is when Nicole starts talking to the DR about it. So again, they don't want to see how much production is, working through this whole thing behind the scenes. But Big Brother's has kind of a bad reputation over the last few years of having people on there, and you paint them with this story edit that you're going to cheer them on. If you're a casual viewer, how do you know otherwise? And then bam, all the reality stuff hits, and you start getting it on TMZ, and you start getting it on Twitter, and so they've really got to watch that reputation.
I saw it on Twitter today before we recorded. Because I had heard nothing about it, and I was like, God, how is he still in the game? If he's using that word, I just can't believe that.
I think also with how close it came to be that Big Brother just didn't even happen this year. I think CBS is almost like walking that fine line where we want to give you Big Brother, but we want to try to keep it as clean as possible. The last thing that we need this season is controversy.
Right.
Let alone the risk of the players getting COVID and all that. So I think if they, obviously if something really big, serious, and bad happened in the house, that would come to our attention and CBS would step in and handle it. But I think for something where we're just speculating at this point, it's kind of
like I said, I don't know anything about it. I'm just going with what I saw on Twitter. But the people on Twitter believe he said that. That's the problem with social media.
Right.
you get like a half truth, and people
Right.
run with it. I mean, you never want to be that person that gets caught in that where you really didn't do anything, because the way
But is that social media? Is that Twitter? Or is that people seeing other things that he said and going, yeah, he probably said that too.
Yeah.
Right.
said-
Yeah.
I
He's
somebody-
building a reputation for
In
himself.
which case, then that is his fault because he's not being a decent person. So then people aren't willing to not believe that he would not be a decent person.
Especially with today's society, where people are trying to eliminate bullying. I mean, you're not going to eliminate it completely, but at least people are
Right.
trying. And you can't have him win this game where people know, yeah, he's a bully. He
Right.
just is. He's an old school where it was okay to say it back 20, 30 years ago, where no one said boo to you.
I don't know if it was okay 20 or 30 years ago even, but
But people wouldn't call you on it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, if you look
there
at all the old fights and stuff that I mean, at least it was allowed. A lot more of it was allowed on network TV. It just
not unscripted, and we didn't really have reality.
But we had people like to bring up Dick again. I mean, we had like there was some very. It would never fly. It would never fly today. It would never fly today. Some of the battles that he had, the breakdowns against religion, there was it got pretty ugly, and he's a fan favorite, but also like a favorite to hate him, But Memphis doesn't have that thing. He doesn't.
Well, because with Dick, you knew he was doing it because he was getting in their heads,
right?
And do you know what I mean? It was part of his. It was part of his strategy. I'm going to get in your heads. Right. I'm going to work you. That's not what Memphis is doing. It's not as good.
But even that today is not acceptable.
Right.
Sure. Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, he would never. He just wouldn't. I don't think that he'd really care what people's opinions of him were, but CBS would.
I know when I was playing sports all through my life that, half the fun going to play softball, baseball, hockey, whatever it was making fun of each other on the bench, it was just, but you never made fun of the person that wasn't in on it. You just, you didn't get too personal, but you would go back and forth. There's skating ability.
You give them the opportunity to either defend themselves or throw it right back at you.
Right. If they're not going to play, then you just ignore them and go, because if the person gets all bent out of shape.
See, that's what I'm telling you. They need to bring more booze back into the house, because we had those fights back in the day, and I mean everything was laid out on the table, and you had this group of people going.
Not only do they need
this side.
Not only do they need to bring the booze back and go, oh my God, they would sit there and be like counting down, like, when is the booze? It's almost time,
Right? They're watching.
The other thing they need to bring back, I really believe it, is they need to bring back the food competition.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
The problem with booze is people let down their guard. And they could be even
worse. They want people to watch the live feeds.
But what I'm saying is that if they're saying stuff like this sober, like Memphis.
Right. But I tell you, one thing that it does do is
there was booze, though.
Yeah.
It was like sex was going on when there was booze. It wasn't
right,
like sort of like bigotry and stuff like that.
That's right. I mean, the meanness. Honestly, the majority of the meanness that we used to have in the game was like.
It was sober.
It was girls being mean against each other. I mean, really,
catty.
That's really what it was. Just some catty stuff. Some of it was so fun, but I mean, it's who doesn't love watching a train wreck as it's happening?
But it's great for somebody like David. If you got a couple, I mean, he loose lips anyway, and then they have a couple drinks. Now they're telling their business to people. It was great.
It is so great to hear those. One conversation happen in a room, and then like a half hour later, you hear that story coming from them, but like how different that story is now. Danny was telling them about the conversation with Ian, and she repeated a few times to everybody in the house, like the one that we saw, but like she was very, very dramatic about it, and it was Like, and then he was like, Danny, you messed up my entire game. Like, and I mean, she just made him so mean and so funny.
When they were in there talking, he was trying to explain to her, because he was trying to talk her out of it or make his case of why it was dumb. And she wasn't even really she just kept saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Like,
but to her credit, at least she wasn't mean about it. I don't know. Maybe she should have been. I don't know. But
she wasn't mean. They weren't going to talk.
I had no problem with her lying to Ian, because that's the game. Right. And he even said that's the game. I mean, it's just it's a game.
Once you recognized it was gameplay and not
them being, he said piling on. Yeah.
Right. He has a lot of respect for the gameplay, and that's
right.
He's there.
It's not done just out of meanness. It's done with some sort of plan to win $1 million,
right,
or whatever. So.
Like I said, if you could outsmart me like that, you'd probably get my vote.
Yeah, I've always thought that if I was in something like that, the person who voted me out is the person who I would vote to win. It's like when you watch, all of those sports balls. Like, whoever cuts you out, that's who you better win the next, you're going for the World Series and you lose out, then you want the team that beat you to win the World Series, because if you're going to get beat, you better damn well be beaten by
you were second place. I could have been second place when I played them.
You never see anybody in the sidelines going, "We're number 2."
Exactly.
We're number 1.
You still have some pride.
Yeah, but first loser. Number 2 is first loser.
You look at the Olympics, the people that win the silver medal, they're like,
really?
You're the second best in the world, but you're.
I like silver way better. Silver's so much better.
Because like the sprints and stuff like that, they lose by what, 1/10 of a second. Gold, silver. It's like I was so close.
So quite a while ago, Vignesh asked what Christmas's power was, because he said he couldn't remember, and it is that she has
the power to hug.
She's the power of good game.
She has the blocker power. So that was the one where she can make the HOH HOH. Isn't that what it is?
I think it was put 2 more people up. Is that right?
I think it is. I think she can veto the nominations and have. Isn't that what it is?
But can she be put up if she vetoes it?
No.
No.
I was looking at that.
She can block the veto. Is that what it is?
No, it's for the next 3 weeks. The power holder can prevent themselves or another House guest of their choice from being the replacement nominee.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well,
So why didn't she
stay for another week?
Why didn't she save Tyler?
She forgot she
herself. She could have, though. I mean, that would have been a place where, since he's her untouchable.
Well, she didn't want. She didn't
actually. Tyler wasn't the replacement nominee for a veto.
Oh, is that
was Ian?
Yeah, Ian would have been.
Man.
And we have a spoiler here on the HOH, but we can talk about it later.
Oh, good. I want to know. I was wondering why it was taking so. That must be hard that it took so long. I've been watching the updates, but.
Oh no. Vignesh put it up at 9:13, so it's
10:13.
10:13 on my time.
Well, not for me and Jamie Joe. Sorry.
We're in the middle of this mess, man.
You guys live in a strange time zone.
The show just ended for you.
Well, we don't have to stay up super late to watch good TV.
That's true. There is that.
I don't have to get fast enough to watch super TV.
So I told
really weird.
So I told these guys, now we're Midwest girls versus the East Coast guys.
Hey, there's some tunes in there somewhere.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, sir.
I lived 40 years on the West Coast, 18 on the East Coast. I'm still on the West Coast.
It just matters.
If I live to be like 90 something, okay, then I can be called. It depends. Even though I was born on the East Coast, but I'm
you returned, and we're all married.
You found your roots.
Yeah,
you returned to your roots.
You're like this close to me wanting to call you meow meow.
Yes, that's a
No,
look.
yeah,
Do it.
my dad was born in Pennsylvania, mom in San Diego. I'm glad my mom won. So that's all. Nothing against Pennsylvania.
Did you catch Julie say that there was going to be a Big Brother legend moving in next door?
Yeah,
Did you
Zingbot.
catch that at the end?
No,
that
my
you- that's what it is?
my feed froze.
Okay, well, she said that they're going to, next week, a BB legend moves in next door and see how it's going to stir the game up. So, do you think it's going to be another player, or do you think it's going to be like a dumb, annoying actor?
That one guy that always comes in and like the one that played like the grandma wouldn't.
Yeah, I got like really excited for him. And
I
then I'm
like that guy. He's
it's going to be
very
that
funny.
guy. I know it.
It's either going to be.
And he was like yelling at somebody that one year, like right.
That
in their
was
face.
really funny.
That was so good.
It's either going to be the actor or Zingbot or maybe Otev.
Right.
But moving in next door. Why next door? Because of COVID? Well, I don't understand that. How that means.
It's going to be the wall. It's going to be the wall shatter.
Do you bring
Right?
someone?
Oh my god.
Do you
The
bring
what?
the wall screamer?
Oh, the wall shouter. I thought
Yeah.
you said shower. I'm like, no.
Actually, I thought you said something else, but the wall.
One show.
It was the chowder.
The wall
Rock.
shatter.
The wall crapper, but I thought you used a different word. No, but would they risk bringing someone in the house that was?
Well, that's what I was wondering.
That's why they're moving in next door.
So Zingbot has to be in quarantine 2 weeks before they can't miss Zingbot. That's my favorite every year.
They're bringing
It'd
in
be
the
weird to
merchant.
not have Zingbot. Well, literally all Zingbot is somebody on production wearing the costume and then a voice over the speakers.
True.
in the
That's
house.
true.
So
That's true.
they could have anybody in there.
But
But
who
they-
in production can do the robot?
They need a Zingbot. They need a
Have we-
bigger Zingbot set.
Have we seen Zingbot and Julie in the same room together?
Nope.
No. Man, that would be fun. That I definitely have a whole new view for the next time we watch Zingbot.
Yeah. We have a conspiracy theory.
Yep. It'd be
Zingbot's probably
Julie Chen Moonbet Zingbot.
Yeah, I blame
Zingbot's probably like
I blame
the
you guys.
first
It's now
try in the Chenbot.
you guys bashing her that she was a robot. I can't look at her anymore without thinking she is so stiff. It's like she swallowed a bunch of Viagra. It's like
I know,
loosen
like
up.
even when they had that like second of Ian where they like there was silence, it was kind of weird and awkward and really sad.
Yeah.
You know, where like I'm sitting there going,
She's like, big fan.
and he's like,
I wish I could give you a
sad.
hug.
And
Thank you
when
for
you-
covering up your nose.
Yeah, when he
Thank
was
you.
walking out without on his nose, I'm like, cover your nose, because I know she's gonna go. You need to cover your nose, and
We
yes,
see those
he does.
people. We want to yell at them.
Right, and he does for sure, but I don't want to hear her say it.
Yeah. But shut up, Julie.
You'd have two people from production would tackle him before he got anywhere close to her.
Right? Don't touch
Bam!
Julie. Don't get near her. She's treasured here.
Ian is such a Karen.
I did want to talk about going back to the first HOH, the wall thing. What did we think of Christmas? Lock it in! Lock it in! Every single time. When the wall would tilt, she would yell, lock it in!
That's
Lock
from
it
her,
in, guys!
That's her app personality, you know.
her like
She's a trainer.
training
I
mentality.
mean, I get it, but eventually I would have said, shut up!
I would have.
Yeah.
We all know how I feel.
I mean, I don't hate her like you guys do, but I just would. When it's like when Jeff Probst is going on and on. It's like it would all I could do is just please shut your mouth, please stop talking.
Yeah, it would be very distracting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as distracting as the fly that always flies around and lands.
But she thinks she's being motivating, though. She thinks she's, So I guess
she was probably to be fair. She was probably being sincere. It's just.
Oh, sure. And you know what? Honestly, when you're up there and you are trying to concentrate so hard, you might not even hear it. You might
That's
be,
true.
You know what I mean? You know how when you get really in it, you just everything else goes away.
Yeah, it's true. But anyway,
Every Thursday for me at 9:30.
Yeah, I'm glad that she feels, I'm with you. I think she was sincere. I'm glad she feels that she could cheer them on and stuff. I mean, she's not a horrible person. She's just a wretched person to watch on TV. You know? she just gets to be very aggravating because she did this in her season 2 where there's all these opportunities that something cool might happen. Then here comes Christmas, and it's just that's
her. You're saying her gameplay. Her gameplay is she's a weak player. Is what you're saying.
Christmas ruins everything.
Everything. So yeah, and when I found out she was going to be on this season, I wasn't immediately like, oh, grr, not her. I was like, well, maybe she'll be different this year because now she can compete and her foot's not bad. And like, now I remember why I didn't like her much the first time.
Literally every single episode, Eric will walk through while I'm watching, and inevitably will say every single time, there's a player named Christmas? Every time. And I'm like, yes! Her name
he's probably, because I know someone in our house that does that to his wife.
Oh,
I do it all the time. Yeah, I purposely do it all the time. And for like 10 times, my wife will fall for it.
Yes, and he'll get me to do that too. Yes, her name is Christmas. That's her real name.
See, my husband walks through the room and sees her and goes, God, I hate that name. It's a stupid name. And he means it every time.
Was that her given name? Is that what her parents' name was?
Yeah. You haven't heard about, there's girls that are married, that are born on Christmas, and they're named Mary, Merry. I've met those before.
There's a lot of Noels out there.
Yeah, I know a few Noels, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you think her family calls her Chris?
Probably. Well,
I'd call her
Chrissy.
Ness.
But then you think, why wouldn't she do that in her other parts of her life?
Because her name's Christmases and she's on TV. She's known for that name. I think she's more well known for that name than anything else she's doing.
Plus, it does, let's be honest, it does stand out.
It does. Right. In this situation, probably it works for her.
Yeah. I guess if I had that name, I would probably use the full version. If I was doing TV, as a personality or whatever.
Yeah. I just really hope she's not a Christmas baby. I really hope it's so random. Like she was born on Flag Day, but they named her Christmas.
I would love that. I really love her glasses. I think her glasses are adorable, and I think she looks really cute in her glasses. So I'll give her that. She has excellent taste in lenswear.
Oh, she was actually born on Yom Kippur. Go figure.
Oh. The parents were confused.
Yeah.
Maybe they were drinking. You never know.
She was born on President's Day. Her real name is George.
I'm telling you, booze changes everything.
Or Abe, right?
Abe.
Well, actually, President's Day, couldn't you pick any president? You wouldn't have to pick.
You really could. There's a long list.
Yeah.
Mallard.
Chester A.
You pick a president people can't remember. I was named after a president. Who?
Ruzy.
I don't know. Poor Christmas. We're picking out our name. It's not nice. Yeah. But the voting came down to Christmas picked Ian, Enzo picked Ian. We went to 45 minutes of commercials. Came back. Devon picked Tyler. Cody picked Ian. Kevin picked Tyler. Memphis picked Ian. David, Tyler, and Nicole. Ian.
Yeah, really.
She heard from the start when she was crying. I go, "Oh, that's
Nicole." I think Nicole's thing. I think the reason that she was crying really is because I think she was super torn in her strategies. Like, she's so afraid that when he's gone, she's the only winner, so her target's bigger.
And she's right.
She's trying to trust her alliance. She doesn't. I think this was the week where she was like, she really struggled which way to go.
But why vote off another winner? There's only 2 winners in the house.
Right.
Because if people go, you won. Yeah, but Ian's won. You have that shield for a little longer. And like you said, we all said that they could have built a new alliance.
The only thing.
And you have David in the alliance. Just tell him what to do.
The only thing you could say now, I guess, is she could say, like, if somebody starts throwing that at her, be like, yeah, but it doesn't even matter. Nobody's giving it to me again. They didn't want to give it to Ian. They're not giving it. Like, she has to play that.
She can, and she could be like, I had a really bad year, and like my untouchable went home. I haven't, she could work it in her favor, but she's gonna have to work hard from here on out, because after this week, there's literally nobody left that's not in that alliance. So
right.
I mean, well, one person. Woo.
Well, she even said we're going to start picking people off. You think it was when Memphis got up and said, when she was talking to Cody in Memphis,
yes.
Said, what if we did? He goes, you'd be in the house, you'd be in the jury house with Ian. So you could talk to him then.
I think that she's starting to recognize that she's in an alliance with the boys club.
Yeah.
And as far as the girls in the boys club,
none of them are her boyfriend this time.
Right, and Christmas is the top of the totem pole of girls in the boys club. So, she is way down there in the bottom of it. They are not. They will use her as much as they can, and she is smart enough. I think she could work her way around it. But the thing that Nicole has to do this year, like if she was in the final two with anybody else in the house, and I was in the jury, that the one thing I would say to her is, how come you don't own a single thing you have done?
Right.
And if she could do that, then I think she could win against anybody. But if she doesn't own every single move, every choice that she's made, even the ones that hurt people's feelings, she's not going to get it.
Because she didn't make this move. She just went along with the moves.
Exactly.
So she can't. She's won nothing, right? She hasn't won head of household or any vetoes or anything, right?
Yeah, she's kind of chilling, and she's doing the same thing that Memphis is doing, but with more personal involvement. I think she's definitely more social than he is, and friendlier.
She's doing what Ian was doing, also trying to play under the radar, but. This was her chance to.
Yes.
Yep.
This was the chance for the girls to kind of go, like, let's do something. Let's make a move.
That's the only thing to me that's killed this whole season so far is the whole house has just voted, with the HOH more or less. I mean, there's really nothing. There's nobody that's if I were on the jury right now, there's nothing appealing about the way anybody's. I think David's made the only move to pull himself off the block.
So do we want to talk about who won HOH or no? And make predictions? We're already at an hour.
We can say from this point on. Spoiler alert. No.
Do we want to?
She did win and gave up the slot for the costume. She won the $5,000.
Oh well, yeah. That's true. That is true.
Yes.
All right. From this point on, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, leave the chat. Skip ahead and all that fun stuff. But thanks for joining us in the chat if you do leave. But we'll be talking spoilers because we do know who won head of household.
And if you stay, you will too.
Yeah. So.
Okay, go.
Spoiler. All right. Memphis won head of household.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Well,
it was an insult contest, right? To see who could.
Yes. I'm just as puzzled as the rest of us.
Oh, there he is. There's old JP.
Who do you think finished second? Oh, because we don't know.
When they were showing the cutaway shots, it looked like it was Memphis, Cody, and David that were kind of leading it. I'm wondering if it's going to be a close race or something.
Yeah, like I said, my feed froze, and I just had Julie. Like I said, I didn't know if it was frozen or not. Like one of you said earlier.
He's going to be boring, and he's going to put up David and Kevin, right?
Yeah. All right.
David and Kevin, yeah.
Yep.
Actually, you know what? We could have, since it's David and Kevin, we both give them a glass. They put it under their eyes. Whoever fills it up first with their tears
wins the veto.
Wins the veto.
Cry.
If you can fill this glass, we won't vote you out.
Because you have Christmas, Kevin, and David are all good criers, right?
Yes.
Right.
I gotta say though, at this point, of how many days are they there? At this point,
40-something, 42.
Yeah, we're at week 5, so
remember these people were in quarantine before going in, and prior to that, living the national quarantine lifestyle. So I'm going to guess that you just get to kind of emotional. It starts.
Oh
to
I think
I'd be crying for everything too.
well, especially with Kevin, because he seems like he's always on the block. It's like nobody wants to work with him,
Well, that's because he just walks around and tells people the people that you trust are lying to you. The people that you trust are lying to you. Like literally, that's what he says to everyone. And Janelle's like, yeah, okay, it's Big Brother. That's kind of how it works. Like, kind of what we do here.
Well, how many times has he played before? Once?
Just once, I think, right?
And listen, his first season, he was not passive like he's been this season.
No.
I mean, like they almost called production in a couple times because he'd get right up in people's face, just
really,
Yeah, like he didn't back down. He was much more assertive.
That's why I liked him. I was excited when I saw he was going to be on. I'm like, oh, he's fun.
Yeah, it's
you think he's just taking
weird.
on
All these house guests are just so like they're all like really depressed. They need I don't know.
I wonder if they're putting something in the water. Like they're all a little subdued, aren't they?
Yeah, like they're wanting to go home and just put me on the block. Man, just put me on the block.
That's another thing.
I've only
and
watched
that's another thing Danny could have used too. I put Tyler on the block because last week you kept trying to convince all of us that you wanted to go home. So bye.
The person that wanted to go home is now they're safe, and your target didn't go home, and they're safe. Like, give me a break. But it doesn't matter because they can literally tomorrow go, hey, the 6 of us are an alliance, so screw all of you guys.
Right.
And they can't do anything. They can't do anything.
No.
Nope.
They lost the power today because that was their last. That's why I think they need to shake it. I've only watched this 2 seasons, and it was kind of that way last season. It was like, when are these people going to wake up? And they never wake up.
Big Brother is suffering from the same thing that Survivor is suffering from, right? The old school players kind of, this is the way it used to be played, but now it's like this, and it starts to get boring, and it's getting too formulaic.
Right.
That.
The formula was cracked and it has been cracked and overused.
What is?
The formula has been cracked and overused.
Yes. And so then it just stops being fun to watch,
Yeah. It really does, because you're like, okay. I mean, now they're going to do this, and who there's going to go up, and you pretty much know how the week's going to go. However, we do have this new neighbor moving in. So there's that. What if it was like Josh with his pots and pans? I don't think Memphis could handle that.
You'll think they'll bring in a neighbor called Karen? Would they go there and she just screams at him all the time? Come on, that would be funny.
It would be, but I don't think
that would be great.
You could have somebody move in that just dresses him in full like denim suits and mocks Memphis the entire week.
It's gonna just be like the Mertzes.
Be Gladys was peeking out the window at him.
Well, she's the original Karen, right?
She is the original Karen
from Bewitched, right?
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
there were 2 Gladys.
No.
Or it's going to be,
or maybe they're like, the kind of neighbors that are always like playing music really loud when they're trying to sleep and like messing with the house guests, I had a few neighbors like that. It kind of ruins your life.
I bet you that's what it's going to be. It's going to be all the things to annoy them. They're not going to be able to sleep. It's going to be loud music, just randomly.
Memphis would get so cranky.
No, I cracked it. I know who it's going to be. Whatever show is coming out in the fall for CBS, it's going to be the star of that show there to promote their show.
Oh, that's lame.
It's going to be something stupid.
What new show's coming out?
Gilbert Godfrey does not have a new show coming out this week. Because he'd be funny there because he'd annoy the crap out of them.
It's going to be Phil
Cohen. He did something a couple years ago that he got in trouble for, right? So that's why he lost the Aflac duck commercial.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
He said something. I can't remember what he said, but he said something that crossed the line.
It was something about the
That's Gilbert for you. That's what he does.
I'm just saying, that voice. It doesn't even matter what he says. The voice is annoying.
Yeah.
His voice doesn't bother me at all.
No?
Like,
I
don't mind it.
if he was in your face and in the house and it was all day, all the time, I think.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I'll be perfectly honest with you. He is like the spitting image of my grandmother. So, like they could be twinsies. So I kind of love him, and it's all right. My grandma gets in my face and tells me a thing or two all the time, and I love her.
Say, okay, I'll buy Affleck, Grandma. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
He actually has a weekly podcast, and I listen to it every week.
I knew he had a podcast. I didn't know anyone listened to it. So.
It's great.
Well, somebody would have to, or you wouldn't podcast anymore, right?
It'd be the end of that.
Yep.
Man yelling at clouds. Maybe nobody's watching that one, but
I don't know. I would just love it though that if I just want somebody there to actually stir up the game. You know, I don't think we'll get that. We haven't really got what we want out of like all these opportunities. We never get those things, but it would be great if somebody could win.
Is that him on the left? Is that him on the left?
yes, you're such a name dropper.
JP knows my grandma.
That was me and Jamie's grandmother.
Oh,
It's too funny. When I tune into these shows like Survivor, Amazing Race, any of these shows, I like some drama, but I like the strategy. Right. We've gotten some drama, but there's literally been no strategy.
Yeah.
Like,
or
I don't know,
too good out of the gate that it just locked the showdown immediately. Yeah. I mean, I guess.
Well, one of you said Memphis 100 household. Oh, David and Kevin are going to be up. Yeah. And that's who will be up next.
I guess. I'm guessing.
And unless
he goes after Davon, maybe he goes after Davon.
Yeah, but
I could see him putting up Davon because I myself would consider her more of a threat than either David or Kevin because she plays the game and she has passion for the game and he knows that.
Right, but it's going to be one of those three people. I mean, two of those three people going up, with the third one being the veto replacement.
I hope it's not Davon and David for Memphis' sake. Because that's going
to be rough on him and make that choice. Oof. Yeah, he's not had a good couple of weeks on his back with this. So
I hope it's not that because then CBS is right back where they were last year, aren't they?
Right. I mean, and Davon doesn't. She may not have Tyler now, so I mean, where she kind of had Tyler before, there's no one to save her. Right. Unfortunately, there's just not. Unless I couldn't see it happening, but if Memphis thought, I could beat these guys. These guys aren't a problem. They're floaters. They're not my problem. I've got the seat. I'm going to start taking out my own. He's okay. So Memphis has created 2 alliances, and I'm trying to remember who they are, but this is what he's done. He has one alliance is him and Enzo, and then maybe him and Cody. But what he's done is he's said like, hey, let's make this alliance, this small alliance, and then you're gonna be in this one with me, he said to Enzo, and then we're gonna make this same alliance, but we're gonna have this person in instead, but we're gonna call both of the alliances the same thing. So he this week he has been with Enzo mostly has been trying to start turning some wheels on how he's going to navigate through this huge group of people, because I think that he recognizes once it's down to just his alliance, he would probably stay good with Enzo. But I don't know that the others are like, let's just keep playing with, they're going to recognize him as the threat that he is. That's why they always run to him for everything. So he may get something out of this like weird double alliance with the same name. But it'll be interesting to see if they actually bring that into his edit and if it pans out, if it does anything, and if it does, it could be really interesting to watch.
Well, let me ask you guys. You guys are Big Brother experts. When I know it's a social experiment, and you're trying to show what America is. But if someone says something stupid, like he said a couple times, and if he did use that word, couldn't there be a punishment for that? like you're put in a room for 24 hours with no outside.
Well,
I mean,
Basically, you're removed from the game for 24 hours, like in the timeout penalty box.
Should be removed from the game.
We're gonna just go back to Christmas, are we? Like, breaks her foot, gets to vote from the hospital room. What?
Oh, really? That happened?
Yeah, on her first season, she got to vote from their hospital room. Like, that's what I mean. She's just, I don't know what
that should be like, once you're out of the
game,
game, you should be. I mean,
it was. It was. I don't even know how that was able to work out that way. But they decided that it was so close to when it was vote time, right? It happened like right before, and it was gonna. I guess probably they thought it was gonna screw up things. They didn't want everyone to be scrambling in the 11th hour, so they let her do her vote. Then she came back in the game. She didn't leave the game.
Right.
She just had to.
They've had people leave the game. Right. I think she's probably got a buddy that's in production, and I think that they've probably came to bat for her, and or she was getting good ratings. That she's not high on the list. The ever changing stock, Big Brother, stock. She's not high on the list. She hasn't been most of the season. But
her season, she did well. I mean,
she did. She was fairly liked on her season overall. I mean, but she had, she was never higher up than like say Tyler or Casey, but she didn't do bad.
Her season was the reason that she was interesting. Her season was that it was so nice to see a girl who could physically compete against some of the guys.
Right. Also, her edits were always so funny because of that squeaky, wheel crutch thing of hers. It just made people like her. She has the bells jingling and the squeak. People laugh out of it.
Well, at that point now, she's an underdog. I mean, she's
right. Exactly.
She's sucking it up. She's staying in the game, and people like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So right. That gave her a story, right?
Do you think Memphis would go in his own alliance? Do you think that it would probably be like Danni and Christmas? Do you think he would take a swing at Danni and Christmas before?
I don't think he takes Christmas. I think they think they can control her.
Yeah, I think he would.
So maybe Danni and Nicole
first. Or I think it would be Danni and Nicole first.
Yeah, and I agree.
I was thinking about that. I could totally see him going after the girls.
Because he can say,
rather than the floaters.
He's interested in being allied with the guys.
I think he keeps Cody, Tyler, and Christmas.
Because he said, look, we need to get rid of these two girls. They could win it.
See, I don't think that he takes Kevin or David particularly very seriously.
No, not at all.
I know he doesn't take David seriously. He has
zero respect for David.
So I could see him going, you know what, I'm going to leave one of these guys because they could possibly be in final two with me.
And I win it easily.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Memphis would absolutely think that, wouldn't he?
Yep.
Actually, if I'm in the game, I'm keeping David as long as I can because I don't think he can win. Well, and even I don't think Kevin can win either because he's not working with anyone. He's on the block.
I'm sure that it would require all sorts of just major stupid things to happen. But if David walked away with the win on this one,
no.
That would be like the best ending ever.
I agree.
Oh my
God!
That's
where you just like throw your mitt down. You're just like, I'm done. That's
I would cry so many fake tears.
You'd have 2 jars full.
Winner.
Oh my God. I love how in when he talks about, like how different it is in the world once after the confetti's, falls,
right.
And brought up the fandom on Big Brother is a pretty devoted fandom, but some of it is just psycho mean. So I couldn't imagine what these guys have to come out after. And then they've got all of these things like sponsors and, so many Big Brother contestants have lost jobs and sponsorships. And I don't know. I want to root for Memphis in the sense that if he does do something like that and really starts to play the game, but look at after the last couple of weeks with how can you root for that guy?
No.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Like I said, CBS can't be thinking, okay, this guy, he can't win. This is going to kill our show.
well, maybe. I mean, but look at last year.
Yeah, but they said, okay, we'll give it one more chance.
Right. Yeah, and they did have really good ratings this last episode. Not tonight. We obviously don't know those numbers yet.
Last week.
Yeah, on Tuesday night, the special evening had the best ratings of the season. So.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was on Tuesday night.
They switched it up.
I just happened to have the TV on the channel because we don't have cable, so I have to watch everything live. And I had to. Yeah, it was a fluke. I don't even know how I did it, but.
Yeah, I went on CBS to watch something else, and I went, Big Brother, Tuesday. It's always on Wednesday. I'm thinking, okay, are they trying to mess me up again?
And it was because they had the Academy of Country Music Awards last night, but couldn't they have done that on Tuesday? Like, I didn't understand why did that have to?
Well, they probably didn't. They probably didn't know that Big Brother was going to be. They probably didn't think Big Brother was going to go off, so they probably scheduled that.
Yeah, it was. They probably had that for a while, but then there's always, you'll have those certain nights too where it's like, especially if you DVR it, you get screwed because 60 Minutes ran long, or a football game ran long, or so you have to watch, especially the second half of the season. You always have to watch the scheduling because it kind of goofs around a bit.
Let me correct you there. 60 Minutes does not run long. It's 60 minutes.
No, and it's because of the sports ball that makes the 60 minutes go over.
Yeah, we used to get screwed with Amazing Race all the time.
I agree. Yep.
I used to sometimes when I would set my DVR, I would go, do I need to record the next show?
I always did.
There have been times when I've had to record the next 2 shows just to be safe.
I would record shows till 2 in the morning.
Just to be safe. If you don't need them, then delete them.
Because they said there'd be one of those races where they're like 3 contestants. I was like, wait, what happened? Oh, God damn it.
They haven't
they ran long
for a long time, but there were days where they would air the episode at like 11 o'clock at night, midnight.
Yes, that's worse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they'll do that here when
we're going to put it on at 1 a.m.
Right?
Well, it used to be bad because college basketball was on the same network as CBS, but the networks here switched. Whatever. But Duke and UNC have the same network, so when they play, everything gets bumped because that's going to make more ratings than anything else. So your Survivor comes on like at 2:30 in the morning.
Oh man!
And then you still have to guess. Okay, let me record before because sometimes you get on there and go, well, why did it start early?
Well, especially in a time of social media and stuff too, because not only now you don't get to watch the show until 2 in the morning, but you have to stay off of everything.
Yeah.
So I don't do that with Big Brother. I don't mind being spoiled, but like the Survivor, other shows, I don't want to be spoiled.
Well, with Big Brother, I mean, Big Brother has the show is the live feeds, not this year particularly because they turn off everything, but it's the live feeds, and then then you get the what is everybody thinking? What is the actual plan? Because it's really fun trying to read what they're doing without being told what they're doing. It makes the game so much more interesting. So like Tyler, Davon, they're both really hard people to watch them have conversations, like the same conversation with different people, and know which person they're really actually going to side with in an alliance. Like, because they're both so good at it.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out this show Rachel's talking about.
Rachel said, because she said that she saw in an article that in October, our Big Brother Sunday is going to move to Mondays.
Okay.
We have the Sunday night movie. So then what we really would see on Sunday is going to move to Monday. So our normal noms.
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
They don't want to compete with this NFL game either on Sundays.
Right.
Probably.
They said they're putting the Sunday night movies back. That movie thing, everyone liked that, I guess.
Yeah.
I loved it when I was a kid.
Yeah, of course.
That was the best.
And sure, it's a movie you've usually seen before, but it's like, oh yeah, we'll watch that.
My favorite was always the once a year where they had the Looney Tunes special with the island in the wishing well. When I was a kid, that was always the big one where
the nerdy kid with the huge overbite.
Yeah, and it'd be like we get to go watch the wishing well episode, and it had what usually ran 4 of them, but that was like the one night out of the year I got to stay up to watch TV. Yeah, it was like Paradise Island or whatever.
It was Daffy Duck's Fantastic Island.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yes, thank you. Yep.
I don't remember.
Every year.
Jay probably remembers it.
I remember our big
Probably.
thing was Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Once you got if
true,
you
too.
missed it, you missed it. That was it. There
Yeah,
was no-
because that was a movie that even after people started having VHS in their house, that wasn't something they ever released on a VHS.
Right.
no.
They kept the control of that because they wanted to continue to have that every year.
That was before my time.
And then it moved to Thanksgiving every year.
Keep telling yourself that.
I remember one time it was Willy Wonka was on and the Wizard of Oz was on, and our kids were excited. My wife goes, "Oh, they're gonna all want to watch the Wizard of Oz." I go, "I bet you it's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory." She goes, "Kids, what do you want?" Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I go, I win.
But the Gene Wilder version, right?
Yes, yeah, not the Johnny Depp
I
one.
don't know what this other thing you're talking about is. It never happened.
The Charlie one. It even had a different name. So
Yeah, but anyway, I think we've covered everything, haven't we?
I think so.
Pretty much. We did for the most part. Oh, I did take a note because I thought it was really, really funny. And I don't know, dumb humor. When
Good game.
when Nicole was talking, was Memphis? No, Memphis was talking and saying, like Ian to Memphis that Tyler's one of the best players in the house. He's like the best player in the house. And then it cuts to Tyler like missing the easiest bank shot on the pool table.
Yeah, I like that.
But they put that in on purpose.
Yeah.
Yes.
but
Every
he
so
does
often
that-
you get some fun little quips there.
The show does edit very well.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and that's the thing too. Memphis was going around going, Ian came and talked to me, and I mean, this whole thing is a ruse. He doesn't have he was saying, like, basically saying, like, a lot of his habits and stuff with his autism and his OCD is like,
But it's an
not for real. Yeah, because he's like, he sat and he talked to me and he looked me square in the eye and he was just calm the whole time and just very direct. He's like, I'm not buying into this, and it's like, no, that's called being on the block and campaigning for yourself.
Memphis is going to be the guy.
100% capable of just having a grown conversation because guess what? He's a rational human being.
Yeah. It doesn't always flare up the way you think it is.
Right?
So he believes in conspiracy theories. So Memphis is going to be the one when he leaves the house won't wear his mask, right?
Oh,
It's got a hole in it right here.
sure.
He's going to run over and hug
Memphis
Julie.
is that guy. Memphis is that guy. Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Have we taken over the show?
And then there were 3.
Uh-oh.
So Jack's been voted off.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he's been evicted.
So
Yeah,
here's
he's
the
gone.
truth.
Bet he
All the
wish he
people
had
that
the power
all the-
blocker now.
He was
All
so
the peop-
angry at that. Even the thought of Memphis not wearing a mask. Like, that just...
Yeah, but if Jack doesn't come back, we can't stop the show. And he can't post the recording.
Oh, we have to stay on until he comes back.
You guys have to stay until he comes back. I'm going to bed.
Maybe Jack's going to be the awful neighbor that moves in next door.
Yeah, but you're right. If he doesn't log back in, he can't save it.
All right, we have to pretend we're all frozen when he comes back.
No.
We didn't even know you were gone.
We should just talk about a totally different show.
All right.
Next.
I think we did that for the last 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, Wizard of Oz, Willy Wonka. Whatever. Rachel did say she has the schedule of movies that are going to come out on Sunday movies. So
Thanks, Rachel. Post them one at a time.
Ooh.
we'll talk about it. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. I want to know what's there.
What are they going to pull out? Kindergarten Cop? I mean, I don't know.
Did you know there's a sequel to Kindergarten Cop?
Wait, a sequel to Kindergarten Cop?
Yeah, it's with Dolph Lundgren.
First grade officer? Let's see. What do we got?
Okay, so 1 week it's going to be Old School. That's the Old School is the one where they make
Will Ferrell.
Will
where they
Ferrell.
have to do their Then Clueless. All right.
Yeah,
Bueller.
yeah.
Just Bueller.
It's a good one.
Scream. Ooh, I wonder Scream's going to come around. That's going to be Halloween week.
Yeah, it's got to be Halloween.
Very good. And Star Trek Beyond.
Beyond Darkness. Oh, no, Star Trek, the TV show.
Star Trek Beyond is a TV show?
Yeah, isn't that the?
Yeah. Are they doing the thing like they did before where they're giving you like one episode and then you've got to go to CBS at All Access to watch the rest.
Oh.
Doing that business.
What if Jack just like completely quit the show and said the hell with
What
it?
if Jack fell down? I mean, he sometimes falls down.
He does.
I'm
Sometimes.
just saying, like,
Like a fainting goat.
Is that
yes,
on Facebook?
Jack, come back.
Jack,
Chuck the,
Jack, come back.
we
Jack.
have to go back.
I mean, he just like exited, like beamed up.
I'm gonna have to pull that. I'm gonna have to pull that move next week.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's alive. You looked at the messenger.
He's what?
That's you.
Oh no, that's you seeing it. Never mind. That's JP.
Got some real tech savvy people here.
Wow.
I'm wearing my glasses. Can't see now.
Okay, so
I guess let's just end the show and hope Jack's able to post it.
I mean, you can just bail if you need to. Is it your dad's birthday today?
It was.
Okay, well, no one said anything. So happy
It's
birthday.
on Facebook, Christy. All my real friends liked it.
It's your dad's birthday.
Yeah. I sent him a nice present.
I didn't see it. What'd you send him? What'd you send him?
I sent him a do-it-yourself.
Your dad lives in Florida still, right? So it's kind of dangerous down there.
I sent him a do-it-yourself Italian hot dog kit.
What's an Italian?
Sausage or hot dogs, peppers, onions, potatoes, mustard, and a big.
But it's a regular hot dog. It's not sausage.
Well, you can do sausage also, but he likes.
Sounds like a delicious heartburn.
Oh, Jack just said he lost power for a minute and lost his internet. Great show.
Great show tonight. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
So that's it. He's not coming back. So what do we do?
We hope that he was recording it.
Well,
the world will still go on.
Okay, wait. Can we leave? Let's ask him. Can we leave? Is that a thing?
I'm tired.
Then go. Jesus.
Because then you're going to talk about.
Okay, Tyler.
If you leave, then Jamie and I can talk about you. Just go.
I'll make
We can go
stretchy faces.
whisper secrets.
I'll make stretchy faces. And that's how I solve all the problems of life.
Never let go of Jack.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, we lost power. Everything just went black.
Man.
And I was like, what the hell is that?
There's no storm.
Then-
Storms.
Yeah, the storm. And then all of a sudden then the internet wouldn't come back on.
Oh, wow.
I said, well, I got to get back on because I got to stop the show.
Well, that's what we were worried about was like, you don't come back on, will it be lost? The lost episode?
No, it wouldn't be lost because it's being saved on
Okay,
YouTube.
well, that was our concern. So.
Okay, but I could just go back and edit out the part that it like went for like 5 hours. I could edit that out, but no, I was like going, what? How am I going to tell him? I go, my phone still works. I just use the AT&T, whatever it is. But
The hotspot?
Chuck says hello.
Hey, Chucks.
Hey, Chucks. Thanks for joining.
But yeah, it was like really weird. It's like it was like for like a minute, it was like dark. And I'm like,
We're glad you didn't fall down.
I did not fall down. No.
We were kind of worried. It was like, as you know, a little concerned. But...
It's happened before.
Right. And we were worried,
Because then you could have all their faces like.
Like, do we just look shocked and leave?
Anyway, but great show tonight, guys.
Yeah, it was fun.
And thanks, Chuck, for joining us. Rachel, yes. Thanks for joining us, Rachel. And everybody else that was in there, yes. So what are you guys talking about?
Chuck, if you're going to be this late next week, you have to bring a note.
Yeah.
And Rachel shared the Sunday night movies with us, so that was nice. She was helping us fill the gap. Thanks, Rachel.
Well, that's nice. What is the movie this week? Do we know?
I don't know. Are they starting it already? Is it this?
I don't know. I don't know.
Beginning of October.
One is old school.
I don't know if I could watch them though with commercials. I don't know.
But do you? Okay, but here's the thing: if you're watching them live and you're not DVRing them, commercials are good because then that's when you run. You do like the old school, and you run and get a snack, or you run and go to the bathroom. Try and beat.
And if you watch any of these movies on Comedy Central before watching it on the CBS Sunday Night Movies, that the commercials will seem very few in comparison.
That is true, and even Big Brother. But most of these movies I probably already own on DVD.
And then when they edit some of the parts down too.
Yeah,
you have to also remember.
There's some things.
You have to remember you're watching these on CBS, so it's more like you're watching commercials being interrupted by movies.
Correct.
Chuck asked, "Do we read the chat?" Yes.
Yes, that's how we knew you said hello.
Depends on what you're going to say, Chuck. Just
here it comes.
But yeah, I just don't know if I could watch the commercials. Didn't care when I was a kid, but
you didn't have a choice when you were a kid.
Exactly.
See, with the DVR, what we usually do is I even do it with Big Brother. Is like we don't start like tonight's episode. I don't start it until about 25 minutes after it started.
Yep.
And then you can just
I used to do that. I used to do that with Survivor. I would go because then you go. I go. Yeah, I'll start about 8:25.
I did mini shows, but say I love you. I don't have that. I don't have that.
We cut the cord today.
Yeah, we. Oh, you today?
Not today. I'm sorry. Someone was. We cut it a couple of years ago. Someone was. I knew she was being too nice to be a Target employee. Because she was just so polite, and then she goes, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm just looking for something. I don't know what it's called, but." And then she came around. She goes, "Oh, we just keep running into each other." I mean, oh, she's going to try and sell me something. I can lower your phone bill. We can lower your cable. I go, I cut cable 2 years ago. I'm not bringing it back. And I go, I just signed with AT&T for 2 years with internet. I go, she goes, "Oh, okay."
Or you just tell them, "I'm living off the grid."
Yeah.
Or you could hiss at them.
Well, I am looking. I was in the
other option.
I was in the Apple section of, I was looking for something that I could use for something that would show. Chuck asked who we all pulling for.
Oh.
Davon.
Probably.
Davon is like the purest player right now, right? The one that's kind of the underdog.
Davon or a nice David upset.
She has to, and she's the only one that's really kind of trying to hustle. And earlier, I think Carol said that because Davon might have a target on her back because she didn't do what Danny said. But you know what? Good on Davon for not doing what Danny said.
Yeah.
Why do we put the HOH every week?
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that when she pulled Kevin off the.
Yeah.
She said no. I think she realized Kevin's.
Thank you.
Well, it's also Kevin's in her. She was smart enough to know. Well, Kevin's. I have Kevin.
Yeah.
Why would I want him voted out?
Why do I want Kevin?
There's like two different ways of looking at one of your alliance members being on the block. One player will see that alliance member go, "Well, at least it's not me," and then the other one's like, "We got to do whatever we can to save this person because we need the number." The people that go, "We got to do whatever we got to do to save this guy," they're the ones playing the game.
Right. So I like her. I think she's fun. She's fun TV.
I wouldn't be hateful about Enzo getting it either.
No, I like Enzo too. He's grown on me.
Yeah.
I thought he was an actor.
It's not like a personal thing, with Ian. Like with Ian, it was never like, "Oh, I don't like this. I don't like him. He needs to go."
I like that
He's
kid.
all like, "We got to get rid of this kid. We got to get rid of him," because he knew he was coming. He couldn't beat him in the end. He's a real threat. So he always had a pretty rational reason for cutting somebody.
Well, he's honest.
Right.
He just tells it like it is. Hey, I can't beat him.
Yeah.
Kid's got to go. I love him.
I can respect that. But what's weird is I always, since the beginning of when I heard who our cast was for sure going to be, I just always had this gut feeling that Ian was going to go because of something that Davon did. I knew it, but I think it's because both Ian and Davon were players that I really wanted to work together, and I knew it wasn't going to happen because it never happens. You never get the group you want together. Never gets together.
You never get the dream team.
Never.
But we have the dream team here.
Every
and
week, Thursday.
And JP.
We had a different JP last week, so
I was
New
actually
watch.
I was in your chat for about 5 minutes, but I didn't say anything.
You're gutless.
Yeah.
You're the new Nicole. All right, guys. Before I lose power again.
Thank you all for joining us in the chat.
Yeah. Hey, Chuck, join us live next week.
Next week, 9:30 Eastern time, Chuck.
Right.
That's 8:30 Pacific or Central.
Yeah.
The cool kids time.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
cool kids. Yeah. We get
6:30
up-
West Coast time. And Hawaii, it's still afternoon.
It's like 4:30. They're not even out of work yet. So anyway, all right.
No.
Great show.
Have
All
a
right, guys.
great week, guys.
Great show, kids. 1 in a million. All right,